Okay. Welcome to round 4. I won the die roll, so I will play. And this hand. We have 2 looks to hit a land. Can kind of extend that to 3 because we have the Thoughtseize. So I'll keep it. And hitting 1 land means that we hit the rest. So bottom, pass the turn. So it's definitely risky, like our keep last game, which didn't end up panning out. But this one hopefully will pan out, and we'll be able to overwhelm him with Sidisi's. Oh, perfect. Let's go get an island. And cast our Caryatid and pass the turn. Next turn we can cast Courser, and if we hit a land, we can cast Thoughtseize. I also could have just cast Caryatid and Thoughtseize there, and ensured the ability to cast Sidisi next turn, which I probably should have done in retrospect. This deck has a deceptively high number of lines. You have decision trees. Definitely casting Wayfinder here to find a land. Polluted Delta lets me get another Caryatid into play. And then I can cast Sidisi plus Thoughtseize next turn, which should actually be really good to clear the way. Like, can make sure that Josh doesn't spoil our fun with a lightning strike or something. He might just play Sorin or Butcher here, though. In which case we don't have to worry. Or a Seeker of the Way. Okay. Well, let's lead off with a Thoughtseize. See what we're working with. Chain to the Rocks, Golem Rabblemaster, Lightning Strike, and Murderous Cut. We're definitely taking the strike. It's the only thing that can interact with Sidisi before the trigger resolves, so do that. And we'll mill ourselves some cards and fail to get a zombie. Okay. It happens. We have another Sidisi. Okay. So Josh has Rabblemaster, Chained, and Murderous Cut. Alright, I'm going to take 4 here. I'm not going to block with the Wayfinder because Doomwake Giant will clear that out eventually. Sweet. Please make a zombie this time. No. flipped 5 lands in a row. Sorry. Do you have a Murderous Cut for the Rabblemaster? And then a Doomwake Giant to clean up the rest. So we're going to cut the Rabblemaster. Whoops. We have to go to blocks first. The Wayfinder can jump in front of the Seeker. Caryatids can block the tokens. I'm going to go ahead and cut the Rabblemaster. Exiling all lands. Okay. Ooh, Whip is good. Whip is really good, but I kind of want to get the Doomwake Giant into play first. That might be incorrect, though. No, playing Whip first is just better. There's a good chance Josh won't even be able to trigger his Seeker next turn. Then we need to whip back like a Sidisi or even a Satyr Wayfinder to look for stuff. To look for more targets, so... basically any way Josh has to trigger the Seeker is fine. I don't want to... Because I have lifelink, I would rather, yeah, take extra damage than lose the Caryatids. Is this a Sarkhan? No, Wingmate Rock. Jeez. Okay. So this is not good. I have to whip Sidisi back. If I play Doomwake Giant, no, that's not true. Let me think. So if I play Doomwake Giant, kills the goblins, and then I take 6 damage. Go to 2. If I whip Sidisi back, Josh kills her with that, with the trigger on the stack. And I end up taking 3 and possibly losing a Caryatid to the Seeker. But I also die if Josh has a Rabblemaster. So casting Doomwake is safer. But I think actually the only way I win this game is if I flip over something like a Hornet Queen. Which means I basically have to start whipping back Sidisi and milling myself. It's not very exciting, but I think I have to do it. Interesting. Didn't use the Murderous Cut in response to the trigger. I didn't flip anything over. And he's going to use it now before I get to attack. but that was strange. Alright. So I take 7. And then... Okay, I'm just dead. Yeah. Alright, we'll go to game 2. Yeah, that Wingmate Rock is really good. By the way, Wingmate Rock is possibly the best 5-drop in the format. Don't know what anyone else tells you, don't care. It's just... The card is really good. I'll just bring in the same configuration I've been bringing in. Keep taking out a couple of Wayfinders, a couple of Cuts, and the Hornet Queens. And see if that does it. Yeah, Wingmate Rock is ridiculous. It's 6 power for 5 mana, which is a good rate. And this is assuming you can trigger raid. It's 6 evasive power for 5 mana, which is great. Also split up into 2 bodies with 4 toughness each. This hand is fine, not spectacular, but we have what we need. So, anyways, 6 evasive power for 5 mana, split up into 2 bodies, plus the potential to gain life. Also very good on defense. Josh Mulligan to 5. So we have a really good chance here. If we draw an untapped land or a Thoughtseize next turn, we're in fantastic shape. But that's fine. More lands would be nice, but we're okay as long as Josh doesn't have a Crackling Doom. Even if he does, we're fine if we have a land on top. Okay. Let's attempt to get value out of this Courser, shall we? We do not. Wow. Josh doesn't have a Crackling Doom, though. That is really weird. Okay. Well, I mean, it happens. Variance is a thing. Both positive and negative. We do have this Downfall in hand. Then the Carrion on the top can help ramp us as well. Oh, sweet. That's what we need. We don't want to draw this Carrion next turn, so we can actually just cast the DC and attempt to mill it. Hushwing Gryff, okay. That resolves. Hushwing Gryff doesn't stop Sidisi's attack trigger, though. So we're in good shape there. That's nice. Go ahead and play that. Keep the land on top. Actually, I'll bottom it. We're attacking with Sidisi. What am I saying? I would bottom any non-creature in that situation. Didn't get there, but we're drawing a whip, so that's good. I think I just cast Carried here, and then... Sure. I think I just cast Carried and hold up Murderous Cut. I need to get rid of the Hushwing Gryff before I play anything else, so... And now is as good a time as any. Especially with the possibility of land into Wingmate Rock. Alright, get some more value off of Courser. There's 7 mana. We want to cast 2 4-drops this turn. I'll lead off with Sidisi. And see if we hit anything. The whip isn't tremendously useful when there's nothing in our graveyard anyways, so... I mean, we have a Satyr Wayfinder now, which is not the worst. Again, I'll play the Carried and hold up for Murderous Cut. Courser of Kruphix does a lot of work. We're very far ahead in the permanence race. We're ahead in life totals, and we're only barely behind on cards in hand, so... Alright. We can still get all of our targets here, great. I am going to fetch, because we have multiple spells to cast. Interesting. Okay, we mill a Sagu Mauler, which is actually really good. Josh must not have an end hostilities. Based on the way he's interacting with our Sidisi with her ability on the stack. Shows us that he's not very confident in his ability to do that. Alright, well, before I play land, I'm just going to go ahead and whip Sidisi back, so that if we mill and there's a land on top, we need to go ahead and, what is this? Utter ending the whip. That is fine, because I have another one. Alright, so if we reveal land, we could have gotten that into play, but we didn't. I don't really have a reason not to cast the second whip here. Black, whatever. And now we just attack for 5. Alright. Josh just concedes, because we have such a massive resource discrepancy. that he's not going to come back. Even if he's able to, like, answer the whip and answer most of our board, you just can't get there. I'm going to keep my sideboard the way it is and just submit. I'm going to keep this. So it's pretty solid. We have 3 chances to draw land, or a Courser, or land or Caryatid or Wayfinder. We got there. Courser is pretty good, even on the draw. Reclamation Sage can break any Chain to the Rocks our opponent casts. And then Whip and Doomwake are a very nice top end. So I think we're pretty well set up here. Interesting. I'm going to run out the Courser here. And it's going to get killed, but that's fine. Because I have another one to run out next turn. Interesting choice. Excuse me. Interesting choice of land to fetch. Wow. Yeah, playing the Courser was not very smart. Should have just played the Wayfinder, but I didn't think far enough ahead. Okay, well that whiffs. Glad to get those off of the top of my library. The deck has a lot of decisions. It's actually quite difficult to play. Despite looking like a relatively straightforward, just mid-rangey deck where you cast your spells and stuff. Now I have a decision to make between Caryatid and Courser. And I think that because... No. Like, Josh has Wraths in his deck. So, Courser is going to be better post-Wrath than Caryatid because it also applies pressure. Which means I would prefer to play the Caryatid. Also, if there's not a land on top of my library, which there very well might not be, Caryatid is a guaranteed extra mana next turn, which lets us cast Whip or whatever. Also, we're not really under a ton of pressure, so we can afford to take a turn off to cast Caryatid. Like, in this situation, we have a much better late game What is happening? I don't know what's going on over there. It's a murderous cut on the satyr. Oh, and then a crackling doom on the Caryatid. Right, he has to get the satyr off the table first. That's fine. Yeah, now the courser is better. Better situated. Okay, read the bones is fine. Wow. I think I play the Caryatid again. Same logic as before. Whoops. We want to leave the same land open to bluff Murderous Cut. This is one of those strange situations where Josh doesn't have any pressure, and we're stuck on mana, so things are going really slowly for us. It's kind of odd. It's a little bit like we're kind of ahead on gas, but we would be dead if he had played anything threatening over the past few turns. Okay. That guy's a problem. We do get a Doomlake Giant. But I think I actually want to maybe play Courser and leave up Disdainful Stroke to prevent anything worse from happening. Seems like the better line. Yeah. Alright, we'll draw a card. Kind of. Technically. Okay. So now we actually have a game. Ooh. That's what the Rec Sage is for. Rabble Master. Gross. We go to 7. The problem here is that Josh can just ultimate Sarkhan. And then we're out of luck. So I'm not sure what I want to play here. I don't think that we need to leave up Disdainful Stroke anymore. If he had a big spell, excuse me, he would have cast it, so so he probably doesn't have anything big coming down the pipe. We can either cast Doomlake Giant or Sagu Mauler or Reclamation Sage and try to hit a land. Sagu Mauler is good because it's it's the hardest for Josh to interact with. Doomlake Giant clears off the Goblin token. I don't think Reclamation Sage trying to hit a land is the right line. It does put the most bodies on board, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to end up being effective. Saga Mauler does have Trample, though, which is probably necessary if we're gonna make sure we pressure Sarkhan next turn. So we go all the way down to 1. But then we can play Whip and gain some life back. Unless this is a burn spell. It is. Alright, well, that's game. But it doesn't matter which line we took, we were dead anyways. So, not worried. Alright, 1-3. Keep watching, and we'll see if I can redeem myself in the last round.